The FlexiProject system allows importing a schedule from Excel into our system. Often, when adopting a project management tool, many ongoing projects are still being managed in Excel. Our system allows you to import such schedules, either by creating a new project or by merging the data into an existing one. To perform this import, you'll need the proper permissions. Adding a project requires creator permissions, which an administrator can configure within the system settings. To import tasks into an existing project schedule, you must have project manager permissions. The import mechanism is similar in both cases. We will start by importing a schedule while creating a new project. How is this done? As I already mentioned, to do this, we first need to have the appropriate permissions, and secondly, we should have the schedule file prepared that we will be importing. I already have such a file prepared, and it contains the following columns. The first is the structure and WBS numbering, which defines the level of task nesting in the schedule hierarchy. Tasks defined as 1.1 will be subtasks of the main task. The system allows for adding multiple levels of nesting. Similarly, this approach allows us to build a multi-level hierarchical grid. For instance, task 4.2 is a subtask of task 4, while a task numbered 4.7.1 already represents a third level of nesting. We can certainly adjust this hierarchy manually after the import, but it is far more convenient to prepare the structure correctly in the Excel file before importing. Next, we have the name of such a task, and the name is, of course, the most desired necessary element that must appear on such a list to even perform the import. Then I have assigned task owners. However, it's worth mentioning that the system will import task owners and assign them to existing users in the system based on email addresses. So, for my convenience, I have added a column owner of the task. However, for the import process to work correctly, providing email addresses is crucial. After the semicolon, multiple email addresses can be listed, which means the task will be assigned to several different people. Next, we have the progress column. Please note this is not a mandatory field for the import. The file also includes the start date and end date columns, along with the calculated duration. Additionally, in column 1, I have specified the risks associated with specific tasks. Now, moving to our system. When I click New Project, I select the option to create a project by importing from an Excel file. Here, the system will ask us for the project name and request us to select a file. I selected such a file from my repository and click Next. Then the system will map the data, meaning for a given column in our Excel, it will suggest matching to our schedule, and the WBS tag matches, as well as the name of the given task. In the case of owner of the task, as I mentioned, the system needs email addresses, so we have the option to skip such an element. In the case of owner email, something that is important for the system to import users, we have the owner email here, which will assign this task to a specific user. In the case of task owners, it's also important to note that if a given user is in the system, they will of course be assigned, but if they are not in the system, they will simply be skipped, and we will be able to add such an owner manually after the import. We have progress, we have a start date and an end date. It is also crucial to maintain the correct date format for these tasks. Here is a quick reference guide on how to format them properly. As we can see, the system handles the import well. However, if our data were in a different format, we would need to ensure its compatibility first. The most reliable approach is to write dates in the sequence: day-month-year. The task duration will be displayed automatically. In my Excel file, I had a column for risks. The system cannot import this additional risk column, so we will skip it for now. When I click Add, the system will follow the standard procedure for creating new projects and ask which functionalities we want to enable. I will select all available options. We can then observe that the entire schedule structure has been successfully imported. We now have a complete WBS structure with nested tasks and subtasks, along with all the other information from our source file. Now let's return to the option of importing tasks into an existing project schedule. If we have a ready schedule in our project and we would like to import some data, they will appear at the very bottom. They will simply be added. When I click Add from Excel, the system will ask me for exactly the same thing as when adding a new project. As we can see, importing into an existing project works the same way as creating a new one from Excel. One crucial detail: if you try to use internal owner names in the owner email column, the system will generate an error. You must use the actual email addresses registered in the system for a successful import. Indeed, as I mentioned, the system relies on email addresses for assignment. I wanted to demonstrate this because if any data is mismatched or formatted incorrectly, the system will flag the entire row and highlight the specific cell where the error occurred. We can observe a similar validation check with the progress field. For the progress column, I will enter data that is fundamentally incorrect and unrelated to progress. As we can see, the system immediately flags this data as invalid. This demonstrates why we must ensure that all data during import conforms precisely to the required format. However, for a quick import, providing just the task names is sufficient. As you can see, this is a very straightforward method for migrating existing projects from Excel into our system. If you decide to perform an import, I would like to emphasize the importance of ensuring your Excel file has the correct structure. This means it should not contain any merged cells. The file must include at least the task name in a properly labeled column. You can use my Excel file as a reference. It should be a kind of database file, containing unique values for WBS and names in subsequent rows. These will be the most important elements. Actually, just the name is enough for us to import a given project. Any other columns are not mandatory. Therefore, if your goal is to transfer a simple task list from Excel quickly, just ensure your tasks are listed in a column. However, I strongly encourage using the WBS structure with numbering if your project utilizes subtasks or distinct phases, as this will preserve the hierarchical relationships during the import. I wish you successful work in the FlexiProject system and, as always, encourage you to subscribe to this channel and like this video. Thanks a lot and see you.